We're not the Department of Energy. We're the clean in the clean energy. We determine whether the energy that fuels our lives also keeps us healthy.
That's Lisa Jackson, the future former administrator of the EPA. She's been disliked by many Americans for her often bizarre regulations. In fact, some of her ideas have been rejected by President Obama himself. She's been known for making the EPA a more powerful agency than it's perhaps ever been. The consensus is that she feels she doesn't have to abide by certain rules. Elected officials have not always been happy about this.
That although you work for the executive branch, Congress is a co-equal branch of government. When we ask for stuff, you need to produce it. We have been stonewalled in this committee over and over again, and those days have to stop.
And now we're hearing one of the most appalling stories out of Jackson's EPA yet.
About 6 months ago, we discovered that EPA was conducting scientific tests on human beings which violate essentially every rule established for the protection of human beings since World War II. The EPA has been intentionally exposing the elderly, sick people, including asthmatics, people with metabolic syndrome, diabetics, even children, to concentrated levels of various air pollutants, including particulate matter and diesel exhaust. And what's significant about that is that the EPA for the last 10 years has said that particulate matter and diesel exhaust, they don't make you sick, they just kill you. And they can kill you within hours of inhalation.
These human experiments have been done on people who aren't quite sure of what they're getting into.
The EPA has been working with different universities, for instance, the University of North Carolina School of Medicine, to conduct research on humans without their knowledge of what's actually being done. One of the subjects, the test subjects in the complaint, talks about not being informed that they are pumping something that's harmful into him.
By law, EPA is required to tell people what the risks are. And the EPA never did that. There's not a single case where EPA told study subjects that, hey, this experiment could kill you.
These projects, which use what's known as gas chambers, have led to some very dangerous experiences.
I read a case report in a scientific journal about someone that actually did get sick. EPA had exposed this 58-year-old woman who had a whole history of health problems, including heart disease. She had a family history of heart disease. Her father died when he was 58. EPA nonetheless exposed this woman intentionally to 3 times the amount of PM, the particulate matter, that the EPA says is safe. They had to stop her experiment part way because she developed a cardiac arrhythmia. Her heart started beating wildly, and they had to take her to the hospital overnight.
It's all bringing back horrific memories of a time in history when human experimentation was used.
The EPA experiments violate all the rules established to protect human subjects since World War II. And it was during World War II that the Nazis experimented, really egregious tests on people. Dr. Joseph Mengele, probably the most famous or infamous Nazi physician. And following World War II, there was this thing called the Nazi doctor's trial. The 23 physicians put on trial, 16 were actually executed, 7 went to jail. And at that time, the Nuremberg Tribunal came out with these 10 points, which sort of mirror almost like the 10 Commandments, of how you, if you can do scientific research involving human beings, the standards you have to follow.
It would be nice if the EPA thought that certain standards should be met. Reporting from Washington, Frank McCaffrey.